Low pH or acidic soils are a significant issue on Lower Eyre Peninsula specifically, but also parts of Eastern Eyre Peninsula around the Cleve-Mangalore area. Generally we're talking pH lower than 5.5 at the surface in calcium chlorides. Some of the impacts of soil acidity are poor crop competition. Where you've got pH lower than 4.8 and high amounts of available aluminium, you actually get root pruning and effects on crop growth. The main causes of soil acidity are product removal. Where your plants uptake basic cations, such as calcium or magnesium, plants actually expel a hydrogen ion, which is the acid ion which causes low pH acidic soil. Some of the other causes are increased use of nitrogen fertilisers, specifically sulphate of ammonia, which acidifies at about twice the rate that urea does. There's actually two tests that we use for measuring soil acidity. They take a portion of soil and then shake it up with 5 times the amount of water. That's a 1:5 extract. But the problem with pH in water is that it's really subject to seasonal soil moisture conditions. And so what they do is they introduce calcium chloride salt, and that takes out some of that influence of seasonal moisture conditions. But the other thing is you can get a pH kit from the garden centre and go out and do a basic field pH test, which is approximate to pH in water. What we tend to find is that pH calcium chloride is about 0.5 to 0.8 of a unit lower than the pH water test, but it's a more accurate analysis of soil pH. Under a couple of different EP-NRM projects over the last couple of years, we've actually gone back to sites that we sampled in 2010. Of the 40 surveillance sites that we've gone back to, the pH on those sites have dropped down below the target pH range of 5.5 at the surface, and about 60% of those have actually dropped below the critical value in the subsurface, the 10 to 20 centimetre layer. So the most practical way of managing soil acidity is by the application of a liming product, generally calcium carbonate. I guess we're fortunate on Lower Eyre Peninsula where we actually have access to some of the best quality lime in terms of neutralising value, purity, and also some of the cheapest lime in the state. Subsoil acidification is becoming an increasing problem on Lower Eyre Peninsula. Where we've got acidification in the subsurface layer, it's quite difficult to address that issue through a surface application of lime. Where we're seeing reasonable responses is actually using things like deep offset discs or spading to incorporate lime down into that subsurface layer.
Because of us being in a higher rainfall area with ironstone, we're probably more prone to acidity problems than some other areas on Eyre's Peninsula. We're finding a lot of root pruning around, and we weren't getting the yields for our inputs, so we thought we had to change something. As long as we can get in that high 5s, mid 6s, that would be really good to get it back up from where it is. First year we put out 1.5 tons. We've definitely got a lot better plant vigour. Haven't lost quite as much crop to waterlogging as other years. We've got earthworms back in some of our soil microbiology. Get it there and then get into maintenance liming and continue the practice and make sure it stays there. 3 tonne on surface at the moment. It's probably only doing the top 0 to 10, I guess, but we'll be following it up. We're on a 3-year rotation with our lime, so we'll be back in 3 years to redo them, and hopefully we'll see the lime getting down into the subsurface. At the moment we've got the leader trial on our property, so we're going to be disking, and we've done a deep disc on some of that, so that'll be interesting to see how it goes.